How do you move the jaw properly? What do you do with the jaw? When and how do you move it? How far should you open it? How much is too much? How much is not enough? Let's talk about it today. I think the jaw is one of the elements in singing, or one of the parts when it comes to everything that is involved in singing, that tends to have a lot of tension, or for personalities that tend to be just really low tension, it tends to not open wide enough. So I want to really clear up the question today, how far you should open. The jaw should be relaxed. However, that does not mean you do not use the jaw muscles at all. Of course, you have to use them. My default position is, I call it the slobber position, or fall asleep in the car or train position. When you move the head forward and back, when you relax the jaw muscles, you can feel that the jaw moves, like so. So if you have a tendency to always lock those muscles, this is a good way to check up if you're locking or if you're actually relaxing. You want to be able to control whether you relax or use the muscles in a very intentional way. And intentional is the key word here. What you don't want to do is fall into the trap of, I sing high and loud, I open very widely, I sing soft and low, I close the jaw. You want to basically have enough opening so that all those spaces inside your mouth, your tongue, continuing on back into your throat, the pharynx, that there is enough space. And of course, you can create more space when you open up a bit. That doesn't mean you open extremely wide to where you dislocate your jaw. Like for me, that's enough opening, and it's even enough opening for singing higher. I don't need to open more than the default. However, when I sing low, I also don't close the jaw, otherwise I will sacrifice some resonating space. I sing low. See, I don't have to move the jaw. What I want to get used to is this default position of having this basic opening. Think about it. Whenever you have any words, for example, na 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 or ma ma ma, which technically of course aren't words, but let's just talk about anything that resembles language. What you don't need to do is close and open every time you intersperse those open vowels with another sound, like na 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 na. That's not what I need to do. I keep the openness of the ah and only move my tongue so that I don't have to use my jaw too much. So na 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 na. And by the way, the N sounds better when there's more resonating space also. So ma 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 ma. I'm using my lips a bit so that I don't have to use my jaw as much. So instead of ma 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 ma, which really puts a lot of tension on my jaw, because every time I'm moving, I just keep opening and closing, and that in time, if I sang several songs, it would really strain me here. In order to minimize strain, try to operate with less overall jaw movement, be intelligent, and ask yourself, do I really have to move my jaw here or not? Don't worry, this does become automatic once you really become more aware and you really start focusing on this. And when I'm singing, I'm using my lips and I'm moving my jaw just a little bit, but I don't move it crazy. And it doesn't matter what words I sing, I can still shape with the tip of my tongue and the soft palate and all the parts moving inside of my mouth. And see, I don't have to really use this too much. It does move, but I don't lock it and I don't like crazy all the time. So this much for how much you should open. Of course, when you're in the middle of being expressive and you're really singing your heart out, probably you will open your jaw more or less sometimes, and that is totally permissible. I want you to first know how to do it properly. And the thing is that once you know how to do it properly, you even can move the jaw more without putting too much tension on it. That's something I've noticed over time in my singing, that practicing to sing with a more relaxed jaw, not opening like crazy, it does allow me to then maybe open a bit more when I really go way high and I get really intense, but it doesn't create this bad kind of tension anymore and this tenseness and just the locking up of the jaw. What I have noticed by making it a habit in my singing to not tense up the jaw too much, my everyday life has totally changed. I used to have neck pain, that all came from my jaw. I used to have a little bit of headache sometimes. I haven't had that for 10 years minimum. And I think it all came from my jaw being too tight and tense. But throughout the day, you can practice, even in your speaking. Do I do a lot of this? Or do I use the movable soft parts? Lips, tongue, right? That's something we can use. And I'm just exaggerating here, but to enunciate. You want to use your lips, your tongue, your soft palate, like the entire length of the tongue actually moves and makes different shapes to shape all the vowels and consonants. So this is probably too much when you feel like it's straining you. And this is probably not enough for a really high pitch like ah, because it's not going to sound like an open ah anymore. Be sensible about it and just think about the things that I just told you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and check out my signature course, Back to the Basics. The link is below. It's tons of video lessons that are only available in the course, not on YouTube. So if you want to dive deep, that'd be perfect for you. Also join my free Facebook group. I would love to continue the conversation there, and have a most wonderful day. I'll see you soon, and always keep on singing. Bye.
Makes me feel sad for the rest.